Let's look at some math problems involving commissions. A math problem might say that a property sold for $120,000 with the listing brokerage company charging a 5% commission. What would be the total commission owed by the seller? In this case, I simply have one percentage in the problem, so I draw 1t. The 5% always goes in the bottom right for the rate, so that's where I put my 5%. The $120,000 sale price is the largest number that will go in the bottom left for the whole amount. Our T formula tells us to multiply straight across. So we will take $120,000 times 5%, and that will give us the part or the amount of the commission of $6,000, and that would be our answer. Let's say that a problem says that a licensee listed a property for sale for $190,000 with the listing brokerage company charging a 6% commission. The listing brokerage agreed to cooperate with other brokerage companies offering a 50% commission split. A licensee of a cooperating brokerage did produce a buyer who offered $180,000, which the seller accepted. If the cooperating selling broker, the selling broker is the name given to the cooperating company, agreed to share 40% of the commission with the licensee, how much would the selling broker's licensee receive? In this case, they give us 3 percentages in our problem, which tells us we will draw 3 T's. Let's begin with the total commission. The sale price was actually $180,000, so that will go in the bottom left in our first T for the whole amount. My commission rate is 6%, your percentage always goes in the bottom right. So our formula tells us to multiply straight across. So we will take $180,000 times 6% to get the part or the total commission of $10,800. Let's now go to our second T. Since the commission will be split 50% for the listing company and the selling company, we will use 50% in the bottom right-hand portion for our split. The total commission of $10,800 will be the whole amount, which goes in the bottom left. So we multiply straight across. We will take $10,800 times 50%, which gives us the part, or $5,400, is the amount going to each brokerage company. $5,400 to the listing brokerage company and $5,400 to the selling brokerage company. Then the selling broker agreed to share 40% of the commission with their licensee. So how much will the licensee receive? So in the third T, our percentage will be 40%, which goes in the bottom right. The selling brokerage's total share was $5,400. That will be the whole amount on the bottom left. So we multiply straight across. We will take $5,400 times 40%, which will give us our part, or the amount for the licensee to receive, which will be $2,160. So $2,160 will be our answer. A problem might say that a property sold for $220,000 with the seller responsible for a 7% commission fee owed to the listing broker. The seller also had a first mortgage of $150,000 and agreed to pay closing costs of $2,500. What would the seller net out on this transaction? In this math problem, they only give us one percentage amount, which means we'll have 1 T. What we need to do is take the total price and subtract out all of the seller expenses to find out what the seller nets. Let's first off draw our T and figure out the commission. Our 7% commission goes in the bottom right. The $220,000 purchase price goes in the bottom left for the whole amount, so our formula tells us to multiply straight across. We will take $220,000 times 7%. That will give us a total commission of $15,400. That would be the part up on top. We can now solve the problem. We then take the $220,000 sale price minus the commission of $15,400 minus the first mortgage that the seller owes of $150,000 minus the $2,500 of closing costs that the seller is going to pay, which will give us a seller net of $52,100. And that would be our answer. A problem might say that a seller netted $149,000 on the sale of a property. If the seller paid closing costs of $3,000 and a 5% commission, what would be the sale price for this property? Anytime they give us a property where the seller nets out so much money and we have to figure out the total sale price of the property, here's the easiest way to do that in a straightforward manner. Let's start off with what the seller nets out and add in all of the costs that the seller is going to have to pay. So we will take the seller net of $149,000 and add the $3,000 of closing costs the seller will have to pay. That will give us a subtotal, if you will, of $152,000. However, the seller wants to make sure they receive $152,000, which will be enough to pay off the $3,000 in closing costs and net $149,000, but yet the seller says the commission has to be on top of that, so just add the commission on top. We cannot add the commission on top because the commission is given as a percentage, not an actual dollar amount. So in our T formula, let's draw ourselves one T. Here's what we would do. The total sale price, which is what we're looking for here, that's going to represent 100% of the total number. Of that 100% of the sale price, the seller has to give 5% of that back to the brokerage company, which then only leaves 95% remaining of the sale price for my seller to keep. And that 95% has to equate to $152,000 to make this work. So in our T, 95% goes in the bottom right. That's the percentage. The $152,000 is part of the total sale price. That goes up on top for the part. Our formula tells us to take the top number and divide by the bottom number. So if we take $152,000 and divide by 95%, that gives us our sale price of $160,000 for the whole amount, and that would be our answer. Many people make the mistake of wanting to take the $152,000 times a 5% commission added on top to come up with the sale price. That doesn't work because you're now basing a 5% commission on something other than the sale price, and that's why you cannot do that. If you come across a problem like this, you can always work it backwards. Let's see if we're correct. We believe that the answer for the sale price is $160,000. If I were to take $160,000 as a whole amount in a T here, just to check ourselves, and then put 5% commission on the bottom right and multiply across, we would have $160,000 times 5%, which means the commission would have been $8,000. That would have been the part. So to find out what a seller nets, we take the sale price and subtract out the seller expenses. So if we take a sale price of $160,000 minus the $8,000 of commission minus the $3,000 of closing cost, sure enough, the seller nets out $149,000, and that's exactly what our problem tells us, so we have this one for sure correct. You can always take all four possible answers on your exam if you have a problem like this, and take those four possible sale prices times the commission rate, subtract out all the numbers. One of them will have to subtract down to the $149,000. Whichever one it is will be our answer.